Hey there, seekers of spiritual, tangible results.
Welcome to the no-nonsense zone, where common sense meets the spiritual. I'm Jason Parks.
I'm Emma Romano, your unapologetically real spiritual guides.
We don't sugarcoat, we don't dance around the woo-woo, we just deliver the raw, kick-ass truth.
Join us each episode as we dive deep into the mystical, cut through the bullshit, and show you how to manifest the tangible results you've been craving for.
No fluff, no filters, just two mentors on a mission to elevate your mind, body and soul.
Get ready to transform your life like never before. This is Soul Aligned Results, where spirituality meets the real world. Welcome everybody, this is Soul Aligned Results. I'm Emma Romano and this is the...
Jason Parks.
The crowd going wild. So, what I want to talk about today is something quite big. It's about loyalty. And I want to talk about how loyalty is such an important part for us and how it can get us so far, but it can also be one of the most negative things that we can be and do for ourselves and others as well. And I want to explain this why. So I'm going to explain what it means to me and how I've been going. So, you know, Jason and I see a lot of clients, and often, I see a lot of relationship clients, and often there will be someone in the relationship who is in a relationship they shouldn't be in. And they'll give me all the list of why they're not there. And they'll say to them, why are you there? Because I'm loyal. But what are you being loyal to? Are you being loyal to something that's great for you, or are you being loyal to something that is the demise of you? So this is where I feel we need to talk about loyalty and mix it with integrity as well.
Yeah.
I think
huge point.
Yeah, loyalty just can't be on its own. And just from my own experience, I have been loyal way too much, too many times in my life for the wrong reasons. You know, with mentors even. I had a mentor for 9 years and I was 8.5 years loyal to that man where I shouldn't have been. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah, understood.
Still learning, people. I'm still learning. Yeah, Jason, what do you want to have a chat? What do you want to have a say about loyalty?
Well, it's a really good point that you just mentioned about, the point of where do we reach that place where we say the loyalty should end? And it's a really important place because loyalty is really built on trust. Loyalty has to be earned. A lot of people will demand it. I've had plenty of mentors and people I've known that have demanded loyalty, and they've seen it as just something that you ask for without having to actually earn. And I've given it, and I've paid the price for it over time. So the people who I am loyal to, said they've earned every square inch of it. There is no, probably because I got more mature in my view about what it meant, but it was really about trust. So in order to have trust in a relationship, people have to be trustworthy.
Yeah.
You can't, if you've got trust and there is no proof of trustworthiness, then that's you playing out your trauma and you're creating a delusion and then trying to believe in it to make it real. So my experience of it is really with trust. One of the big lessons that I learned from this over time was to trust people to be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, that changed my life, that did, because in the beginning I was just too trusting to the point of gullible. And it just burnt me again and again and again. And after that, of course, I got jaded. And then I didn't trust anyone, didn't trust anything. And you can't go through life like that either. That's a really awful way to live. And when I heard that advice about just observing, trust people to be themselves. So if you're I'll give you an example. So if you're in a room with a group of friends and somebody walks out of that room, and then people start gossiping about that person as soon as they walk out the door. I said, well, those people are trustworthy. You can trust them 100% to be doing that to you the moment you walk out the door.
Yep.
You can absolutely trust it. So it's not misplaced. You know exactly what they're doing because you're observing what they're doing. People can say whatever they like, but it's the particularly in spiritual work, it is the physical results that we see, their behaviors, the actions they're taking. That's where it's actually at, and that's where people have to earn your trust, and through that, they earn your loyalty.
Yeah, and I think it's just such an important part because I also feel loyalty is an excuse. And it's where people who are in victim mentalities will use loyalty as their victim story. Oh, I can't leave because I'm so loyal. Oh, I can't do that because I'm loyal to my vows, or I'm loyal. Oh, I'll pay the money. I've got to be loyal now. It's actually a victim story. It's playing the victim card. I know because I'm talking about what I've done in the past, right? I mean, I'm not, this is from experience as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It's a
know?
great insight.
Yeah, exactly. When you've had the experience, you can see it from all angles, not just you just haven't just read it in a book. I really feel that we need to be focused on loyalty as trust, but with integrity. Because if something doesn't feel right, I can tell you now, 9 out of 10 times, it's probably not right. And
Yeah, you don't want to find that thing out. It's one of the I think because I did a lot of martial arts over the years, and one of the big things about developing that kind of antenna for trouble, when you develop it, the biggest problem is there's no payoff on it visibly. It's not like you see trouble coming and all the spider senses are tingling and you get feedback. What happens is you're walking down the street and then you feel like this is not the place for you to be and you cross over. And you go on and everything's fine. And almost never do you find out what might have happened if you'd ignored it. And you don't want to find out what might have happened if you ignored it. So it's really hard because dumb shit gives you immediate feedback. So it's easy to believe in it.
you
But
know,
smart moves don't.
I have this great client at the moment. I'm seeing majority, for some reason, majority of my one-to-one clients are men, and they usually have, and I see couples and stuff, but my one-to-one single clients are usually men, and mostly it's depression or anxiety. And I've got this guy I'm seeing at the moment, and he is very loyal to his problem. Right?
Yeah, open that one up. That's
Yeah.
a great concept.
Very loyal to his problem, which is depression.
Yeah.
And diagnosed with depression from the GPs, on tablets from the GP. Anyway, I literally he's just left from his 3rd session today, feeling so much better. And I said to him, where do your loyalties lie now? And he said to me, oh my God. He goes, that's hit me. I went, yeah. And he goes, I was pretty loyal to being fucked up.
Mm.
Oh, you were thinking about it, feeling it, doing everything. I said, like, I tell you what, if anyone wanted to write a book about loyalty, I reckon it could be you. I
Yeah,
said,
it's
because you
amazing.
nail it. You really know how to be loyal. Like, I've never seen somebody who's so committed to the cause before.
Oh, yeah.
And he just went, holy shit. And, I took him through timeline reset, and he said to me, I've given up my loyalty card to that shit. And I said to him, I went, prove it. Because you're going to have to prove it as hard as what you proved it to be right.
Sure.
And it's quite amazing when you sit back and look at it and go, loyal. Why are you so loyal to a relationship that's shit? And I don't mean a relationship with somebody, a relationship with a thought, a relationship with an emotion, a relationship with a past or a future, or whatever it might be. But why are people so loyal and so proud? They're like out and proud about being loyal to it, like it's a badge of honor. I'm like, why aren't you feeling more of that connection of being loyal to happiness, to spirituality, to being healthy, being wealthy, being in love? It really freaking amazes me. And I don't think many people have connected this loyalty to what the issue could be, because it's a relationship. It's a relationship
Yeah.
to loyalty. Because if you're loyal, that means you can be loyal to all kinds of things, good, bad, or indifferent. But I feel if you're loyal to in integrity, that calls it a different thing altogether.
That's a big deal. That is a big deal. I remember years ago having a conversation with a person, and they asked that question, like, what do you think's the most important? What's the most important character trait that you look for in a person?
Mm.
And I said integrity, and they said consistency. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting.
Mm.
And at the time, I was just like, oh, okay, well, we talked about it. And they said, and their answer was very logical. They said, if you've got somebody who's consistent, at least you know what you're dealing with. So if a person is always dishonest, at least you know they're always dishonest. If you've got a person who's good, you got that. And it's like, yeah, but consistency is part of integrity. You can't be all over the shop and in integrity. That's not how it
Yeah.
works.
Well, consistency is almost loyalty.
It is. It's very
It's
much,
the same
I,
vibration, isn't it?
yeah, it's like, I just need that to stay there because that's a big part of it, isn't it? Said we need loyalty started originally in a bigger picture was with alliances. People, military, you would have a chieftain would create a bargain with another chieftain and they would marry off family members and do all everything so that they could ensure loyalty, or they'd take hostages to ensure loyalty, which meant that when I need you, you'll be there. And over time, we've sort of kept that. But if you're doing that to something like depression, or you're doing something like old identity or poverty or anything like that, is that it's the thing about those alliances is that you're choosing one side over another.
And you're right, though, because the loyalty is I'll need you and I want you there. So
Yeah,
when you've got loyalty to poverty, yeah, I need you. I need to be poverty. I need to be in poverty. I need to pray. I need you. I want you to be there because that is their story. That's a person's identity and story. And the thing is, our ego, like our pain body, never ever wants to be wrong. So if my
yeah,
pain body's going, oh yeah, I'm such a struggler. Like, I'm always in victim. Oh, I have to sacrifice everything. The pain, you'll go, yep, that's me. And you won't even see the light from the trees. You'll only see, and you'll create spaces and you'll create situations where you'll always have to struggle and sacrifice.
yeah, absolutely.
And you're loyal to the cause. I say, fuck that shit off and let's get loyal somewhere else.
Yes, very good point. I, I remember when my father passed away, when we read a thing, I can't call it like the eulogy, where you talk about his life. And we spoke about the things that he accomplished in his life, and he'd done a lot of different things. And I remember after the event, when we were going through the tidying up after the funeral, like the whole process, paying bills and doing all those things that go with that. And I remember that the funeral director said, they said it was really interesting to listen to your father's story about what he'd done. Said so many people here, we are doing like 2 or 3 funerals a day, like 5 days a week. And most of them you could read the same script. You just change the names. He said everything is pretty much the same. And it's like they went to this school, they then met somebody and got married, and then they had kids and worked, got a job, worked in this place, got married, had kids, supported this football team, which was their joy. There's nothing wrong with football. But at the end of it, they died and their family missed them and all of those things. And that's fair enough. That's most people's lives. But it's interesting that whenever I go to visit my father's grave, you'll drive through and it's terrifying how many headstones have got club badges for AFL. I said, you know, it's quite astonishing because it's that story right there. So we don't want, if we're being loyal to old identities, old patterns from the past, it's all the things that we could have been.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse. There's no bigger pain in the pain body than that one. where you get down the track and realize what you might have been, but you were too damn busy making your pain body happy.
Yeah, like on your deathbed, you're not going to turn around and go, I'm really glad I stayed with that dickhead for 50 years. Like,
That's right. That's right.
you
No,
know,
no one can say I wasn't loyal.
yeah, oh, I'm really glad I was loyal to that asshole. I like, what? You're not. You're going to
Yeah.
sit there in massive regret. And this is where I really feel we need to stop pulling the loyalty card as a badge of honor and go, well, hang on, where's my integrity card?
Yeah.
Because integrity is hard.
It really is.
It's really freaking hard. I'm saying this out loud. It's not easy because if there's something that you don't like and you wouldn't do yourself, but you're accepting a friend to do it, you're out of integrity.
Yeah. That's
You
exactly
know,
right.
it's a really, this is my word of the year, integrity. And when you go into an identity of, right, I'm going to be integral, it's hard work because
Yeah.
whenever you go into an identity, like your pain body or your soul will bring up everywhere where you're not, so you know where to change it. And I thought I was doing all right until I found out I wasn't doing all right.
Yeah.
And it's like you're going, holy shit, I'm out of integrity here, 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 here. I'm saying one thing, but I'm doing another. I'm doing this, but I'm saying that. And it's like you have to align yourself and be integral. And be loyal to integrity. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
Because it's a big thing. Just imagine if everybody in this world, even just half the world, decided to go, right, I'm going to sit for 1 week in integrity. Might be chaos.
It'd be a shit fight. Yeah.
Would be. Could you imagine that?
But
Oh,
wouldn't there be some change? Wouldn't there be some significant change?
be massive because you know what? Just like let's go back to basics and talk about a marriage, say. If just half of the marriage, I say, a wife, husband, husband, wife, whatever. If just one of those people in that relationship said, do you know what? I'm going to stop picking on you and I'm going to be in integrity. Because if I'm telling you to stop doing something, that means I have to stop doing something. I wonder just what would happen. I wonder if people would start shutting up, or I wonder if people would start looking at themselves and taking radical responsibility for their space in it, or I wonder if they would just run away and go, I can't be here anymore.
Well, I think you'd have all of the above
Yeah,
across the board.
concept, isn't
The,
it?
the runaway, absolutely, because the biggest thing about integrity is that it costs a lot. Is
Yeah,
it nothing that you can't afford to lose?
yeah.
That everything it takes from you is shit you don't need.
And it's the biggest block to abundance.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's no doubt about it. A lot of people are trying to, wish their way into manifestation, but in fact, manifestation comes easy when you're doing the things that are in alignment with who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I wish we could just wish it in like so much
So
easier.
yeah, we're not gonna lie, that'd be fantastic.
I'd have 4 alpacas by now in a Scottish castle, but I don't. But I think loyalty is I would love to hear those listening to this of, have you been triggered yet? Have you gone, oh shit, this is food for thought? Have you turned us off and gone, I freaking hate both of you, or Emma, you especially, whatever it might be, right? But just have a feel into it, because if something is hurting right now, there's a pain point.
Yeah.
And that pain point needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
And then there's your opportunity to go, oh, I'm about to expand here and grow. Because we're not expanding and growing, we're in disease, we're dying.
Yes.
So yeah, I just think it's really, really important. It's something that I do just for top tip for those out there. Before I say anything to my husband or my kids, when I want to pick on them, right? I always say to myself, am I doing this first?
That's a
Or
good.
I sit there and go, hang on, am I doing this first? Like, if my husband's sitting there eating and I can hear him eating from the other room, right? Say, you girls know what I'm talking about, right? And I go, hang on, do I eat like that? Or do I have manners that are like that? Am I being too loud and gross somewhere? Because that's where you have to go with your integrity. If there's something I don't like out of him, it's usually I'm doing the same thing, and it may not be exactly the same thing, but it'd be something in the same vicinity or frequency of that.
Yeah, absolutely, because you wouldn't be there.
That's
You
right.
wouldn't be there if you weren't in the frequency with it on some level.
Because if he's eating too loudly, it might be that I'm walking too loudly or I'm burping too loudly. Do you get me? I'll be doing something because otherwise I wouldn't notice it. It just wouldn't bother me.
Yeah.
So interesting, isn't it?
It's a fascinating practice when you start to dig into it. It's huge, but it's so rewarding. It's so unbelievably rewarding.
Yeah, it really is. We would love to hear from you guys, listen to this, about your thoughts about this topic of conversation. Go into our Facebook page, Soul Aligned Results, and just, yeah, give us a private message or do a comment. We've also got a group on Facebook, Soul Aligned Results. Pop in there. You're invited. Don't abuse us, you know, I'm fragile. Jason can take it, I can't. But fragile. And let us know how you're feeling about that, this podcast, about this topic, and like if it hurt or if you're like, yeah, this is interesting, let us know. Jason, is there anything else that you wanted to share before we sign off on this podcast?
I think probably the big takeaway from me, I hope you get, is that watch the tangible realities around you. If somebody's saying to you, like I said before, if you've got somebody who talks about you every time you walk out of the room, you should trust that. You should trust it and you should act accordingly. If that doesn't matter to you, then that's fine. But if it does, you really need to make some adjustment to how you're behaving and what you're putting out there. So tangible reality is the only accurate indicator within spiritual practice. All these ideas about how I feel or anything like that, I said your pain body manipulates that constantly. I said, but the things around you, I said, they give you good feedback every time.
Every time. There's no guessing in this game.
No.
There's no guessing.
Perfect.
Oh, thanks everybody. Please, please, please let us know what your thoughts are. If there's any topics you would like us to talk about, we would love to get to know you guys. We would love to have a chat with you. Check us out on our website, soulalignedresults.com. We do have a retreat coming up. Please have a look at our website for retreats and anything else that's delicious on there that you would like to look at. And we will see you soon. Thanks for listening.
Thank you all very much.